Finally, it's game week. It's really exciting to be part of week 0, the first games in college football. Our first venture into full-time FBS Division 1A. And I think I'm sure our players are very excited about it. We've had a good camp. They've worked really hard. I think we've gotten better. Obviously you have more questions as a coach in your first game every year than any game because you're playing a bunch of new guys and you're not exactly sure what you have. But I like the way our guys work. I love the way our staff has come together, and we'll see. It's going to be a nice warm day in Jacksonville, Alabama, 4:30 Saturday afternoon. I hope we have a great crowd, and it should be fun.
Could you talk about the benefit of having somebody like Zion around, not just his 7th year, but the fact that he's finally been healthy for a whole preseason?
Yeah, it's the first time. I think Zion would probably tell you the first time he's had a true whole off season healthy, and a summer that's been healthy. And even last year when he played, he had a couple games where he wasn't feeling well and was in and out. And he's had a good camp. He's obviously a veteran. He's been around a little bit, and it's his 2nd year in the system. So he's a lot more comfortable than he was a year ago, and he's done a great job of leadership as well. And we've got good competition. I mean, Logan's come in here and provided good competition for Zion, and we feel confident to play Logan. And Tayshawn Smoot continues to get better. We're getting more and more confident with him, so we feel pretty good there. But Zion I think he's shown, he understands what we want to do, even advancing from the spring ball, which is a good thing.
Could you update us on the project? He had a great season last year. What are you expecting from him this year?
With AK kicker? Yeah, he was. I thought he had a great year last year. Very consistent. And, he's right where he left off. He's got a strong leg. He works hard at his craft, and we're pretty confident with him. I mean, without wind conditions or weather conditions. 50 yards and in, and even maybe a little bit deeper than that. He's been pretty solid. And our specialists, they all work hard. I mean, as you would expect, they would, they kind of take a lot of pride in their craft, and we feel good with our kicking, our punting, and our snapping situation.
We've heard from the players how excited they are to, be a part of a historic season, the first FBS season. Mm-hmm. Does pressure come with that too, the chance of being in a historic season?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question. I think there's pressure no matter, what level you're at or what the circumstances are, because that's the biggest thing, particularly about college athletics. A lot of times you're judged on wins and losses, even though it's more than that, and it's more than that to get to that point. Are we going to be one of the first teams to ever transition from 1AA to 1A and make a bowl team? Because I don't know if anybody's done it in the last 20 years. I don't know, but that's the goal. And I don't know if we're big enough, deep enough, fast enough, what have you, to win a conference title or to be that good out of the gates. But we're not going to forfeit anything. We're going to try as hard as we can. And the first game's a good measuring stick, but it's not the only measuring stick. We have a lot of games, a lot of challenging games. I don't know what was 7 or 8 bowl games on the schedule, so there's going to be a lot of measuring sticks, so to speak. But the first one for us is always a big one every year, just because, like I said earlier, you're not really sure where you're at until you play somebody. And we're at in UTEP, and I told our guys, and our coaches know this, they're one of the best teams in Conference USA. They had the #1 defense in the league last year, got most of those guys back. They've got a lot of veteran players, probably the most veteran team in our league, and so they were picked as one of them to win it, and we were picked way down the bottom, and I certainly understand that. But back to your question, I think, we put pressure on ourselves as coaches and players to perform to our best, and that's what we want to do and take it from there.
I know you might want to keep the cards close to your vest. We're talking about Zion's offseason. Do you have any idea who might start week 1? Have you guys decided that yet? You want to share that?
Yeah, Zion will probably start. I think he, as long as the week goes the way we expect, I would think Zion would. But Logan's going to play, and I think Tayshawn will be ready to play as well. So we've got to be ready, with not just the weather and all that, but we want to play a lot of guys, and I'm sure they do too. So we only have a handful of seniors. I think there's 5 or 6 that start. The rest, a lot of underclassmen. There's going to be a lot of young guys playing, a lot of true freshmen playing for the first time. So I'm sure they'll be a little nervous, but I also want them to have some fun with it too.
In your experience, I mean, what kind of opportunity does not only playing in week 0 bring, but also playing on a major network like CBS?
Yeah, CBS Sports. I worked with them for a year way back when, so I know a lot of folks there, and actually know some of the guys that are calling the game, and that's going to be fun to see them. And it's on a not that you can't watch it on a streaming network, but when you're on a regular cable network and someone like CBS Sports, it is going to be a lot of fun. Our guys will see, there'll be a whole bunch of cameras, there'll be a whole bunch of trucks with equipment and down here and all that, so you kind of sense it's new for Jax State. I mean, we may have had 1 or 2 here, a playoff game or something that's been on national TV, but to have as many as we're having this year and to have it to the scope that we're having it is a first for the school. And so I think it's not only going to be a boom for us athletically and football wise, but also I think for our university. We said that a long time. I mean, we're going to be on national TV a bunch this year, and we want to play well, of course, but I also want to show how neat of a place Jackson State is.
How important is it to make a good first impression in front of a national audience when it comes to recruiting and just changing what it means to be a football player at Jackson State?
Yeah, I think first impressions are always important. I mean, it's going to be the first impression for this year. And last year we made a first impression for the first season, and now this year it's the first impression with that. But I'm trying not to put all your things on your first game, because there's so much. Every game is important. And any coach will tell you that. But I think it's a new venture and a new step for us, and I'm not going to put my head in the sand and think, okay, all of a sudden we just arrived. I mean, trust me, there is a lot of things we still have to do to be a good 1A program. A lot of things, and we're trying to. I'm the worst person as far as patience there is. So I want it all right now. I ain't got it all right now, but nobody does. I mean, no coach, or especially no coach in the transition from a 1AA to 1A is going to have it all right now. But we're getting there, and I get a daily reminder every time I go out to practice and watch our new facility getting built that, hey, that's not going to be done now, but it's going to be done next year. So it's coming.
From what you've seen on film from last season from UTEP, what are they going to do that might pose challenges for you guys?
Well, they're a very big physical team up front defensively, extremely well coached. I know their coaches. They don't make mistakes. They tackle really well. I would suspect that they would probably, with their size up front on offense, they would probably try to control the clock. The quarterback can throw the ball. They'll take some shots, deep shots. They got one of the best receivers in the league. So we got to be aware where he's at. So they'll probably try to control the game, take some deep shots on us, and then defensively, they'll pressure on certain downs and do a good job disguising it. But they're big and strong enough up front, but they usually don't have to. So we're going to have to really. I mean, the key for us is going to be up front on both sides. We got to be able to handle them or be able to acquit ourselves pretty well on the O-line and D-line, and we'll see how that plays out.
You mentioned earlier your time at CBS Sports Network. I know you're first and foremost a football coach, but that year you did broadcast. What did you like about it? Was it challenging for you? Did you enjoy it? What was that experience?
Oh, I did enjoy it. There's a lot more work involved than you think, especially if you want to be good at it. I mean, you got to research the teams that you're covering. I was doing 2 things. I was doing a studio show, and then I would do games on the weekends. And so you had to prepare for the studio show for your talking points, and then for the games, you had to obviously prepare for both teams, almost like a coach. Watch the film, see what they do, and I enjoyed it. The hardest part was the travel. I mean, you're traveling all over the country, and you're in airports and hotels, 5 days a week. So that was the hardest part. But I learned a lot doing it by going and watching other programs, but I had a good time with it. I wasn't used to putting makeup on. That was one thing. And then after I was on, one of my buddies called me up and said, Coach, it looked like you gained a few pounds. And I said, what's those cameras? They put 10 pounds on you. And he said, well, hell, there must be 4 cameras on you then. So, you got to, everything on HD is a little bit different. But I enjoyed the experience, and the people there were great. And so it's ironic. I said this is, 10, 12 years ago, and some of them are still there. And I'll get to see some of them this weekend, so it'll be fun.
Could you update us on Anwar Lewis, and do you have a timetable for when you're?
Yeah, he's finally practicing full go starting Sunday. Was his first day full go. So we'll see how he progresses during the week. If he can go on the weekend, obviously we'll play him. He's a good player. We're probably deeper at running back. We don't have a lot of big guys, but we have a good solid group of guys, and I think there's 5 of them. Ron Wiggins, Malik Jackson, Juwan Evans, Kenyon Sims, and Anwar Lewis. All 5 of them will dress, and probably all 5 of them will play. You know, we know about Ronnie. He played a lot last year. And Malik's a transfer who we know coached at ULM, who's a really good player. And so if Anwar can't go or he can't go full-time, we've got a bunch of guys there.
You mentioned your offensive line. You can go return talent offensive line. What do you want to see them in terms of San Antonio's game?
They're going to be – this will be one of the biggest challenges they have all season. I know we got some really good teams on the schedule, but this is a big physical defensive line, a veteran group that they're playing against. You know, we have some guys that got some experience, and I think our guys are pretty competitive up front. So we'll see how it happens, but it's going to be that's where the battle is going to be decided, I think, up front. And we win some, we'll lose some, but we just got to keep competing, see where it takes us.
You kind of hinted at Brock Rechtsteiner switching from tight end to wide receiver, and now we see that on the depth chart. Can you talk about going into that decision of switching or what you see from?
Yeah, we needed more depth at wide out, and Brock can run. He's fast enough to play wide receivers. He got good ball skills. He's had a really good camp. He's progressed to the point where before we were looking at him more kind of a role player, maybe special teams guy, where now he should be getting some consistent reps on the perimeter at wide receiver. And then we've got a couple 2 or 3 tight ends we feel pretty good with as well. And we'll play a lot of, like I said, we're going to play a lot of people, a lot of skill guys. There'll be a whole bunch of guys in and out of there.
Last year you talked a lot about the seniors on that roster stepping into role team leaders. Do you see the same thing from the seniors on this year's team?
I do. I think we only have 11, and it's a small group, but a really good group. And I don't tell them, you automatically become a leader when you're a senior because you've earned that right. But they don't have to change their personality. They got to be who they are. So once in a while they maybe have to get a little more vocal when we need some leadership when the coaches aren't around. But for the most part, I tell them just lead by example, lead through your own personality, and I think they all do that. It's a really good group of guys. The thing I like about them is that they care about this program, they care about this school, and they care about each other. And you always want a senior class to do that. And it's harder nowadays, probably any coach would tell you, with the transfer portal and guys in and out, to really have as tight-knit a group as you'd want to have. But I think we have that, and I think it's because a lot of it's because of our seniors and the way they present themselves.
How do you feel about the first week every year? I mean, is this exciting for you, or is this kind of like, does this week?
No, I'm honest with you. My wife will tell you I'm about like miserable. First week, and I think it isn't so much like I'm not ready to play a game. It's just you got to play. You don't really know what you got. I've been saying for years. I mean, in NFL they have a couple preseason games. Every league seems to have, and even every sport in college it seems to have an exhibition and preseason game. In football, you have none of that. So you really don't know until you play a game, and it counts. And so you can't really, if you're making a bunch of mistakes and things like that in your first game, you can't go, let's fix it. Then it didn't count, and we'll be ready for the real one. It all counts from the start. So that makes me as a head coach a lot more anxious than probably I should be. Now I've done this for what does it say now? 26 years. So you think, by 26 years, you're like, no, it's still the same. It's like, I hope we play well. I hope we do this. I hope we do that. And all the things that go through that you do, you hope it happens. And it was the same way last year when we opened up in our first game, and it's the same thing this year.
Just reading some of the game notes, you guys ranked 11th nationally in red zone efficiency. How important is it to you, and how much do you stress to your team in making sure you walk away with 6 as opposed to 3 once you get in there?
Well, particularly the tougher games you play, the more important those extra points will be in the red zone. And we work situations every day in practice, and so being aware of where you're at, but not only red zone offense but red zone defense, is going to be critical for us. And we just run what we run, but at the same time, you want to come away with points all the time. We feel good with AK and our special teams, but we've worked a lot of red zone stuff because like a team like UTEP, if you get down there, I don't know how many times you're going to get down there. So you got to try to take advantage of it the best you can.
Obviously, camp is over, so it's a good feeling for everybody. We were just excited, tired of hitting up on each other, ready to hit somebody else.
talking about hitting somebody else, you got a really physical UTEP team, especially in the trenches. Coach said that's where it starts, both offensively and defensively. From your study of them, how difficult is that defensive line to prepare for?
Oh yeah, their defensive line is really, really good, really physical. Older guys, so it's going to be an interesting battle against them. We got a couple older guys now, a couple experienced guys on our O-line, so it's going to be cool to go against those guys.
What does it mean to be part of the first FBS game? How exciting is that? But does that also come with a little pressure?
Yeah, of course it comes with a little bit of pressure, but it's normal. Like last year, we weren't supposed to be like good at all. Like people didn't think we were gonna be good. So obviously we have that pressure of being like seventh and trying to prove ourselves. But it's cool that we get to make history. We get to be the first team, and we're taking that next step for Jax State, and it's cool to be a senior, a part of that team. So.
You always hear the games around the trenches, coaches use that same type of thing. What type of mindset do you have going into that game when you play such an impact?
You say it again, like the
What do
question.
you do going into that game knowing you play such an impact in this game?
Yeah, preparation and practice. So Coach Trickey does a great job of giving us every situation that we're probably going to get within the game. So taking practice very seriously, getting a great look from our scouts. That's what goes along with like seeing what's going to happen in the game. So.
How's Xavier come along this offseason? How have you seen him improve?
Yeah, most definitely. Bosley is a dog. He works super hard, gets in extra work, and he's going to be prepared for this season for sure, not just this game.
Coach was saying he's probably going to go with Zion to start. And obviously, you having such a rapport with him, you being a senior, him being a seventh year.
Yeah.
How important is that center quarterback relationship as you guys get ready to start this season?
Oh yeah, me and Z are close, and I love Ten. Like when I was a freshman, he was probably like a sophomore or something like, but maybe like a junior. He's been around so long, but I love Z. I used to be roommates with him, so we definitely have a really close relationship.
What's he like in the huddle as a leader and trying to calm you guys down?
Super calm, scary calm. He never gets too high, never gets too low, and that's so we all just take a deep breath when we see 10 come in there, and we're like, okay, we're good, we're gonna be fine.
Could you imagine playing college football for 7 years?
No, not an offensive line. Nah. We work so hard, and a lot of our guys, we're like, dang, our hands are hurting. You know what I'm saying? Like, 7 years is wild.
We've heard Rich, and I think we've heard Zion say this too, this fall, that he's healthier than maybe he's been in the past. Is that something you've noticed?
I think, he's definitely worked his way. Like probably like in the 2021 season, he'd be hurt a little bit. Maybe couldn't practice this day. Maybe couldn't practice that day. Maybe do a couple like things that he couldn't do, or like work his way in a team period that he couldn't do before. And he's been healthy the whole time, so it's been cool to see that.
Has he looked different in practice?
Yeah. Because of that, I think he's more comfortable with everything, all the calls and stuff like that. So.
With the preseason camp behind you, what was it like working with Coach Trickett? What's he like as a coach?
I'm used to it. I'm used to how Coach Trickett wants his individuals run, or the pace of practice ran. He's a hard-nosed coach. You know what I'm saying? So it's just tough. Sometimes you're like, man, I don't want to do it, but you got to force yourself to do it. I got a lot of young guys looking at me now, like a lot of freshmen. A lot of good freshmen too, like really good freshmen coming in. So I can't take a day off because they'll just look at me and be like, "Oh, Trey Brown's chilling," so I'm just gonna chill. So I can't do that. So I try to lead by example.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, did fall camp feel different for you, this being your last time?
Yeah, it was weird. It was definitely weird. I woke up the first day after we left from Texas. I was like, man, it's really the first day of the last time of doing fall camp. But it was definitely a weird experience for sure. But I love this camp. This camp was cool. As much as you probably dread fall camp, I didn't dread it. I was enjoying it.
As you guys get ready to play on national television, you got a bunch of midweek games that will be on national TV. How cool is that to have the exposure for not just this team, but for this campus, and to potentially sell it to recruits throughout the years going forward?
Oh yeah, this is big for Jacksonville as a community. We've never experienced anything like this. I've never experienced anything like this. But from what Coach says, it's just about the same, but you're playing on a Tuesday. Might got to wake up the next day, got an exam or something. So, I mean, but it is what it is. You get to play on national TV. Who wouldn't want to do that? You know what I'm saying?
Do y'all ever talk about, or do you ever think about, what that exposure means, not just for the program going forward, but for y'all as individuals, that y'all have the chance to maybe sell yourselves?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like especially a lot of skilled guys on our team. I'm sure they're super excited about it. Like, I'm sure Q would be like, "Oh, I get to run a touchdown. I get 3 touchdowns, man, NIL." You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it could be something like that. But no, but like it's super cool for those guys. Like especially the younger guys on our team. I'm excited for the next couple of years to see how they adjust to it, and they're gonna get to play on TV every year. So that's super cool for them.
You talked about it a little bit, but do you feel an innate sense of leadership being a senior on this year's team?
Yeah, most definitely. Like a lot of the young guys look up to me as a leader on the team. So yeah, like being a senior, that kind of what goes along with being a leader. Like it's 2 and 2.
Quay Drake came in here and won a starting role. What do you see from him as an offensive lineman?
Quay Drake he's pretty good. Quay Drake's a good player, really good player. And I feel like he just like is instinctual. Like he knows what's going on. Like inside zone to the right. Okay, I know that. Like he's always there to make a play. So he should have a really, really good game. Really, really good season.
I know you practiced Summit Center before last season, but
Yeah.
You obviously didn't know you were going to start so many games there.
Right.
Are there any areas that you feel more comfortable with, knowing throughout the whole offseason that you're going to be at that spot?
Right. Yeah. Like I was fairly comfortable last year because I did play it a little bit, like especially that spring going into like when the coaches changed. I kind of knew that I was gonna like play it a little bit, but yeah, just being more comfortable with the playbook and being more comfortable with myself and having confidence in myself and my guys next to me, whether it's Will, Clay, Roby, or Bosley. Like they instilling in me like, hey, we're going off of your lead. So a lot of that, yeah. So I'm more comfortable for sure. That's really all it was, just being comfortable.
It's exciting, actually get a chance to move up to FBS. It's actually a good thing for the younger guys, just to start for them, opening up on national TV. I feel like everybody locked in and ready, so I'm just ready to get it kicked off.
Do you get sick of people talking about how long, this is your 7th year, you're so old, you've been here forever? I know some of your teammates tease you about that.
Yeah, it get aggravating sometimes, but I don't let it get to me. I love the game. With me missing the season at 21, I feel like I deserve a chance to get that year back, so I really don't listen to it.
You seem like the type of guy who has so much fun on the field. You have so much fun being part of the community here at Jacksonville State. Is that why you've been around so long, why you kept wanting to come back?
Yes, sir. I love Jacksonville. It kind of reminds me of my hometown. It's small. It's a friendly community, and I just love being around the team. The guys. They like my brothers. So I'm gonna miss them when I'm gone. So I try to enjoy every moment I can with them. So I just try to take every moment in and enjoy it.
We can ask all the guys, what does it feel like to play on national television? But for you, as somebody who's seen Jacksonville State develop over the last, this will be 7 years, what have you seen, and what is it like to be able to play on the big stage in Week 0?
It's nothing different. At the end of the day, it's football. You can't let all the cameras and all that get to you. At the end of the day, it's your job to come out here and play football and win a game. So I just got to appreciate them. At the end of the day, it's football, like I said. So just take it all in and enjoy it and just play your game and don't let the cameras get to you and just play ball.
What have you seen out of Austin at the other safety spot?
Austin, he's a great guy. He come in, he play a great role. He's a good role player, so he's a guy that we can depend on to come in when somebody's down, and he can come in and step in and know what he's doing, and he's a great athlete.
How would you describe your emotions going into this week?
I really can't say. It really ain't hit me yet that this is going to be my last one, my last first game. It really haven't hit me yet, so I really can't say yet. It probably going to hit me probably Friday night or either Saturday morning when game they get here.
It's the first time you've been able to open at home this season.
Yes, that's very special. I always wanted to start off the season at home, and I finally got that chance my last year, so I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can.
How much of a boost does that give y'all to, especially on the defensive side, to be playing at home?
Oh, it give us a great boost. We got our fans cheering behind us. They always behind our back, and we actually play in front of the students, have the cockpit, try to have it jumping. So it's a great feeling to have the first game at home and get to play in front of your home fans.
I think we talked to you probably before the first game last year, and, you talked at that time about, oh, this is my last time because you didn't know you're coming back. Do you think the fact that you kind of already went through that does that make this week feel weird because you're kind of just going through that again?
It kind of do. Because, going into last year, I thought it was going to be my last year. I didn't know I was going to get my year back. So it's kind of like I'm just reliving another year. So it's a weird feeling, I can say.
Going up against Zion in practice, what does he do that makes life difficult for guys in the secondary?
Oh, Zion, he like a 15-year senior, like me. So he's a guy that knows the game, and he know how to make, like, disguise is, like, you might want to, I'm going to say that safety, like, if you trying to disguise, he'll look you off a certain way and kind of throw you off. So it make it very difficult, to make plays on his ball because he's a guy that knows and understands defenses, and he can get his receivers open at all times.
In your film prep, looking at quarterbacks, everyone sees Patrick Mahomes now with the no look and everything. Back in the day when you could just read a quarterback's eyes, how often, I should say, are you aware of quarterbacks looking you off, and can you study that and get better at that?
Yeah, you can. Quarterbacks, they want to look you off, so you just can't just go off their first look. You just got to keep backpedaling and stay square and just react quick as you can because sometimes they are good enough to look you off another way. So you just got to be locked in and prepared for that.
What's jumped out at you about UTEP that you've seen so far?
They're a good team. They're a veteran team. They love to get the ball to their playmaker, number one, and they love to run the ball as well. So they're a good team, and a veteran team. So it's going to be a pretty good game Saturday.
I think they have probably, statistically at least, one of the most successful receivers in the conference. I assume that's, y'all talk about him. Is that exciting to be able to start the season off matching up against a guy like that?
Yes, it is. We want to play against the best. We want to show everybody that we can compete on any level. So we just looking forward to going out and compete against everybody. It don't matter who it is, and it's exciting to actually play against one of the best receivers in the nation.
Did you notice that you guys are picked seventh, finished seventh in Conference USA? What do you think of that?
I love it. I love being an underdog. I love it. I always been an underdog all my life, so I just love it.
Did that fuel y'all last year, being the underdog?
Yes, most definitely. We love being picked last. We love proving people wrong and showing people that we can play ball.